I remember once being at a funeral of a great man, a leader in a community. The place was jammed. Rabbi spoke. The president of the shul spoke. I was larger than life. Then his son got up. And he said, as great as you think my dad is, you have no idea. Because he was my dad. And so, yeah, he built organizations and took care of the poor and the needy and, yeah, rags to riches, all that stuff. But you don't understand how hard it is for someone who would ask him 10 questions by morning. I walked with him to synagogue every morning. We had dinner and breakfast and weekends and holidays. He's my dad. As big as you think he is, he's bigger to me because you saw the man. I only saw the Father. You know, as Jews, we've got a pretty big dad, the King of the world. And man, is he big. He could do anything. He can make oil last for 8 days. He can bring clouds of glory. He can bring manna from heaven. He can bring locusts and blood. He can do whatever he wants. And we have so many holidays in which we look up and go, my dad's the biggest, the benefactor in the community, the man. What makes it so special is not just when he's big, it's when he's just our dad. Because if you see God as just a king, you only get one piece. If you see God as just the entity that is changing the world and worrying about the state of Israel and the hanging out with the biggest rabbis, and he's this distant figure that you believe in, but he's distant from you, you're only getting a piece. And Purim comes to say, this seems like a regular story, right? It happens to be that Esther's the queen. Really? It happens to be that Mordechai saves the king, and the king reads about it the night in between he's about to see Haman. It just happens to be. None of these things happen to be. It's God in the daily life. And he's been there in our daily lives ever since. The story of Purim is the story of him just being a dad or a mom. God's not a person. The parent that's always there, always in the shadows, encouraging, helping, building, growing. The walks, the conversations, the stuff that nobody sees. The story of Purim is when God operates in the shadows. And the Jews seeing it and saying, our dad was always here with us. That's joy. That's happiness. Happiness is feeling God's presence every day of your life. Happiness is not thinking that because you're not at some top of a scale of spirituality, then he doesn't love you or is connected to you. Happiness is knowing that no matter where you are in this world, for no reason, he's just there with you because he's in you and around you, and he loves you because he is your dad and your mom. He is your parent. Feeling God's love unconditionally is the greatest source of our joy. Mishenichnas adar marbin b'simcha, the rabbis teach us. You go look at Purim and you get the lessons of Purim. You see him in a regular day and a regular challenge. You get that. You've got joy for the rest of your life. Don't wait for God to split a sea before you connect to him. Your eyes opened. You walk the streets. That coincidence? He's with you in the ups and downs, in the good days and the bad. He doesn't leave. He's big. He's a king. But he's also your parent. And he loves you no matter what. Purim is that lesson. When you get to Purim, that's when you get joy. Shenichnas Adar Marbin B'Simcha. This month we should feel it. And when we do, we're going to have true joy.